Hello, Mika.
Hi.
My name is Kirill. I'm from Belarus.
Hi.
And honestly said, I'm not a big fan of your music,
Okay.
but one single is completely taken my heart. It's ELLE. And I don't understand French and I don't speak French, but it's when first time I heard ELLE, it's like explosive in my head. Then I watched the music video and another bomb explodes in my head. And when I saw the translation, when I saw the translation of the song, it's another explosion. So I don't understand. This song is so shiny, and it's about family. And why do you wasting your life? And it's really taken me because it's dissonances with the words, and it wasn't like the old glam rock like your last time and synth pop.
Yeah.
So and I wanted to ask, what feelings do you had when you write this song, and you will continue write songs on the French language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. ELLE, I wrote it in a studio in the countryside, and I had written like 4 really depressing songs, and I was just like, oh God. And I said to the guy who I was writing, I was like, God, can't we just write something happy? And then I was like, you know, my mom always used to say, just write something happy. No one likes a miserable fool. And so I was like, oh, like she tells me, write something happy, not something depressing. And he replied to me, he goes, yeah, don't, and maybe, yeah, and then you'll be able to make a little money and not end up like your father. I was like, oh, how'd you know that? That's exactly what my mom used to say. So it was like a game of like answer and reply with this guy that I was writing. The worst things that his mom used to say to him and that my mom used to say to him. And it's really funny because, do you speak Italian at all? No. So I just answered a question. They were like, so, and this girl asked me about finding your own individual kind of like style, and how do you find your style, or how do you find that thing that makes you unique? And I said, well, it's actually that strange mix of really tough love at home and kind of hard, cruel attitude mixed with that love, that unconditional love. And so I said those 2 things, and bizarrely you're asking a question which is a complete illustration of that. ELLE is born out of that mixture of kind of like resenting and someone being really tough on you, but also knowing that they love you, you know? And so that's how I wrote that song. And then for the video, I didn't want to be in it. And so all these treatments came in. And then I had this idea. I was like, I need a mother who is a woman who's had kids and who is also kind of punk, you know? And I remember seeing a French actress who was super famous for very intellectual films and very intellectual plays and stuff, and her name is Fanny Ardant. And Fanny Ardant is an iconic French actress, kind of untouchable. And actually she was married to Truffaut. Which is...
She was there in 1972.
She came here, she was here in 1972 with Truffaut. So, I took a lot of deep breaths and I called Fanny Ardant. And I was like, hello, I'm Mika. She goes, oh yes, I remember you once. I met you at a dinner. I was like, yes. And of course I was too scared to talk to her at the dinner. But I remember at the dinner that she had a tattoo of a Christian cross on her hand. And I kept this in my mind. And so I called her up. I was like, I'm talking to like one of the most iconic actresses in France who really says no to everyone. And she's very difficult too, you know, because she's very protective. And I said, I want you to be in my music video. And then she was like, there was just silence. I said, hello? She's like, you do realize I'm an actress. You do realize I do theater now, I do films. I was like, yeah, I know, but you have to understand why. And I was like, it's a mother and the thing, and she goes, and the thing, and the mother, but the mother loves the son, but she's also a real tough bitch with the son, and so I think you'd be perfect. And she goes, why? And I said, because you have a tattoo on your hand and it's in the shape of a cross. And when I saw that, I knew that you were that mother. And she stayed silent. And then she just said, okay, I'll do it. And she hung up. And so I remember this thing, this little sign, you know, and it was a tattoo that she's had redone on her hand. And it's such a strange thing. And that's why in the video, Fanny Ardant goes like this. And everyone's asked me if that was fake, if I put it on there. But no, that's her tattoo. And so, yeah, that was my experience writing Elle me dit. And yes, I will continue to write songs in French. Not many, just a few. And they have to be like that.
Thank you very much.